Land Rover removed every rear seat from the Defender 110, replaced them with a rubber floor, a steel bulkhead, and 2,059 liters of cargo space, then charged nearly €100,000 for the result. The fact that it works, that it might be the most convincing commercial vehicle I've seen at the Salzburg Motor Show, is the part I was not expecting to report. Whether this two-seat Land Rover Defender hardtop justifies the price of a luxury SUV while wearing the registration of a van is the question this walkaround answers. The 2026 Defender 110 hardtop X-Dynamic SE is the refreshed model, and the changes are visible from across the Salzburg Arena showroom floor. Flush-mounted taillights replace the older protruding units, and they pull the rear profile tighter without losing the squared-off Defender silhouette. The new gloss black grille bar at the front sits between redesigned LED headlamps with a metallic surround that reads more polished than the outgoing version. In Woolstone Green, a color Land Rover developed exclusively for the 2026 model year, the extended black pack does something unusual. The satin dark gray 20-inch alloy wheels, the black roof, and the darkened side trim pull the visual weight lower and make the Defender look less agricultural and more deliberate. You stand next to this vehicle and it reads like a decision someone made, not a default fleet order. The side-mounted spare wheel on the tailgate is the one detail that still telegraphs capability before anything else, and on a showroom floor full of polished SUVs, it earns attention for the right reason. I reviewed 3 channels on YouTube that covered Defender hardtops last year, and every one of them said the same thing about the front cabin. It is identical to the passenger Defender. Sitting in this X-Dynamic SE at the Salzburg Arena, I can confirm that claim holds. The 2026 model year brings the new 13.1-inch Pivi Pro touchscreen, a redesigned center console, and a repositioned gear lever. The ebony resist seats are heated, 8-way adjustable, and shaped for longer drives rather than short site visits. The head-up display projects speed and navigation data onto the windscreen. Air suspension controls sit within reach on the center console. The one honest limitation is visibility. Without rear side windows, you rely on the large door mirrors and, if fitted, the optional clear sight interior rearview mirror that switches to a live camera feed. I noticed the absence immediately when I sat down. It is the single reminder that you are in a commercial vehicle, and it arrives the moment you glance over your left shoulder. The cargo bay behind the full-height steel bulkhead is the entire reason this vehicle exists, and it is more considered than I expected. The side hinge tailgate swings open to reveal a completely flat-load floor, 1,472 mm long, around 58 inches by 1,423 mm wide, roughly 56 inches. That is enough floor space to accept a standard Euro pallet through the opening, which is a claim no premium pickup truck bed can match without a tailgate down. The floor is covered in heavy-duty rubber matting that extends up the sidewalls. 6 integrated lashing points are recessed into the floor surface, not bolted on afterward. Underneath the main floor, 58 liters of lockable storage sits at the rear, and an additional 155 liters of hidden compartment space occupies the area where the rear passenger footwells would normally be. Access through the side doors. That is 213 liters of concealed storage for tools or equipment that remains invisible and secure even with the tailgate open. 249 horsepower from the 3-liter inline-six mild hybrid diesel, with 570 Nm of torque available low in the rev range. The 8-speed ZF automatic and permanent all-wheel driver standard, 8.8 liters per 100 kilometers, approximately 32 miles per gallon on the combined WLTP cycle, is not cheap to run, but it is competitive against the Ford Ranger's real-world figures when you factor in the Defender's motorway refinement. 0 to 100 in 8.3 seconds is not the reason this engine matters. The 3.5-ton towing capacity and the 900mm weighting depth are. Terrain response 2 is standard, and the optional air suspension on this car raises ground clearance to 291mm for off-road work. The active rear differential with torque vectoring by braking, fitted as an option here, tightens the line through corners in a way that no Ford Ranger or Toyota Hilux can replicate. If you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. I cover commercial vehicles, luxury SUVs, and everything where those two categories collide every week. €97,590 as shown. A Ford Ranger Wildtrak with comparable equipment costs around $45,000. That premium buys you a cabin that belongs in a luxury SUV, a cargo bay that is more secure and more weatherproof than any open pickup bed, and a chassis that drives identically to the passenger Defender 110 on a motorway. It does not buy you a rear seat, a larger payload rating, or cheaper insurance. Those are real disadvantages, not small ones. What it also does not buy is a vehicle that feels like a commercial compromise. That is the contradiction this Defender settles. The hardtop is not a Defender with something removed. It is a Defender with a different purpose built in. Whether your work demands that purpose is your calculation to make. But after standing in this cargo bay at the Salzburg Motor Show, I stopped thinking of it as an expensive van and started thinking of it as the most honest vehicle Land Rover sells. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. I read every single one. And don't forget to click the bell icon to get notified about my next upload. See you in the next video.